Alright, so here's a new version of the SensorGnome. It's in the Pelican 1150 case. So it's a bit smaller than the old case. You see we have the antenna ports in the front. This hole here is just for the GPS cable. It's not in right now, so just pretend that it would be there. And you can add additional antennas if you'd like. This one just has 3. On the front here, we've got the power port, and then there's a hole where the push button used to be. So ideally, there wouldn't be a hole there in the final model, because you no longer need the push button on the outside. So go ahead and open it up. And inside we have the SensorGnome, as you expect. So on top is the cellular modem. You can see it blinking away there. Right beneath it, you might be able to see on the side there, is the UPS hat. It sort of has this extra appendage there where this battery pokes out. That's the backup battery, which can be used to power this, I think, for maybe 3 hours or so. At least that's how long I did my tests for. One of the ports here are being used up by the by the cellular hat. As you can see, that micro USB cable plugging into the cellular hat and then going to that port of the Raspberry Pi. So if you do want to have more than 3 antennas, you do need a USB hub, and there's not a whole lot of room in here for a USB hub, so you might want a larger case. But I mean, that's probably expected if you're going to have more than 3 antennas. Anyways, there's not a lot of room for dongles either. But with just 3 dongles, it seems to be ample space for everything. And I've got this Velcro to the bottom, but we could also use something else that's a little more sturdy, like even screwing it directly into the base. But I'm thinking something like epoxying some kind of standoff that you can screw the Raspberry Pi into. Alright, and then you can see this power that goes in there. It is directly wired to the UPS hat. So the UPS hat can take in a range of, I think, 5 to 24 volts. We have to look that up, but something like that. So that means that you can take the voltage directly off of your battery, or you can take in a voltage from a USB charger, and that's actually what I have plugged in right now. So you'll see here, just the factory standard Raspberry Pi charger. And I have a waterproof connector here, so this is an option that we can use. This is called the SP2 2-pin connector, and so there's a nice gasket in there that seals everything up. It's a IP68 certification, so maintains the original certification of the case. You can see I have sort of I put heat shrink around all of this so that the connections are all tight when I clamp them down. And as you can see, even though I unplugged it, it's still running, as we can expect. So that's one of the nice things about this, is that not only does it makes it extra portable, I guess. So you can set it up, it's still running. I got this all closed up, and now I've got this waterproof setup, if you can ignore the holes. So the alternative using this SP2 or this waterproof 2-pin connector, the alternative is to use just a PG11 cable gland, which is basically, if you can imagine, just this section would always be poking out, and you put a cable through, and that's how you would power it. So that would be something like, it would be a lot cheaper, I think, and easier to install, fewer man hours to put together. And that would just essentially, you put the cable from the battery directly in and wire it directly to the UPS hat in a similar manner. And that would also make it easier to, say, if you had your case just hanging out outside and you wanted to have an AC cable go in, cut the cable, make sure it's unplugged on the other side, cut the cable, feed it into your PG11, and then you attach the plug end, one of those, custom plug ends on, and then you can plug this in, just all inside the case, and then seal up that PG11 gland, and keep it waterproof. Here we have two antennas. So this one here is the LTE GPS antenna, and here is an LTE and cellular antenna. So this actually, you can see there's three different connectors here. So the other modules we'll be using probably only need one actual antenna to be used at any time. You can actually have external antennas attached to this, and it would be attached using an SMA connector, just like the GPS has previously been connected. So the idea here is if we want to use, this might even suffice, just these two, and it does for most applications, but in cases where it doesn't, you can attach an external antenna for both the GPS and the LTE, and then you put an SMA adapter on the outside of the case, and you can plug in that external cable, entirely waterproof connection, and then have that. I think the LTE antennas are 6 meters in length of cable. So anyways, that helps with the cellular reception.